I was trying to do a recording of this text, the temporary autonomous zone. I was just trying to read the essay and give some commentary on it along the way of just like a new type of video content that I'd like to start making, but which I am at present unable to really do because of technical limitations. So unfortunately that project is not going to move ahead for now, but when reading it there are a few interesting concepts. And I think it's interesting to think about how like a Maoist concept of revolution and like an anarchist concept of like insurrection and the temporary autonomous zone, which is like based around like perpetuating the spirit of insurrection rather than actually achieving revolution. Like in this text, he is pretty opposed to concepts of revolution and like the idea of revolution. And the whole idea of the TAZ is just to set up a zone that is, free from the status quo, from the like order of civilization, and where you can like foster that he refers to it as like a festival kind of atmosphere, kind of like a psychology of liberation, and like the feeling, just like the kind of feeling that you get at a protest when things start going down. At a really good party, like this text is very popular amongst the rave community, like this spontaneous feeling that there's like the collective spirit that is, accomplishing something that is greater than any one of its parts and is happening spontaneously. It's a very exhilarating feeling, and it's a feeling that I'm familiar with. I would hope that everybody gets to experience that feeling. But something that I have learned over the course of my life is that feeling, and I mean, this is not just something that I've learned, but it's like something that everybody knows, but it's something that I've come to experience and feel, is that this feeling does not actually constitute what is necessary to achieve any kind of real change. Like, it takes hard work, like unpleasant work and sustained labor, organizing over a long period of time and constantly having to return to a square one. And that is what it takes to actually achieve meaningful change, not merely foster or like creating a festival atmosphere. And like the feeling of insurrection and creating a festival-like atmosphere where people are free from bourgeois mores or whatever. And it's worth pointing out that Hakim Bey was like a pedophile and an ideologue for NAMBLA, but like creating that kind of atmosphere is not sufficient for achieving political change, because like in this text, and I'm thinking of as well like all of these Tikkun and like Invisible Committee texts that I used to read as well, they talk a lot about how futile it is to resist the like might of the imperial state. Like obviously you cannot confront it directly because its weapons are too powerful. It will just destroy any opposition force that tries to meet it head on, and therefore you need to like do something else, like create a network of like moving nomadic temporary autonomous zones. But that just doesn't like account for the fact that even a nomadic network will be assimilated into the order of things. And also, like, what is really important, I think, is that the Maoist actually has a response to that. in the form of the protracted People's War, and just in the like different ways that Maoism like conceptualizes the party and the party's relationship to the masses, and the masses as the revolutionary agent as opposed to the proletarian. Like all of these different concepts of Maoism like really get at the strategic developments of neoliberalism, like what neoliberalism is capable of doing to a revolutionary movement, like the ways that is able to undermine them by cultural means, and just by like being so powerful that it is able to like account for that is able to constantly recompose itself in order to account for any kind of like movement against it, like how the present Black Lives Matter protests and the mass rebellion is currently struggling against the process of being assimilated into the state. But Maoism like is really interestingly and excitingly able to deal with those same questions because of concepts like the protracted People's War, which is it's like it's able to move and shift. It has like a complex dynamic, changing dynamic with the state that it's in opposition to, and it like puts like the People's Army in material antagonism with the state, so that they're confronting like in a real way in like actual battles, rather than just like setting up rave zones and achieving like real meaningful things as opposed to just achieving a rave. But the People's War, it is not so foolish as to think that it could confront the enemy head on. Like, it is able to account for that sort of like technological and just like the development of neoliberal power. So that's all I'll say for now. Maybe we'll talk about the People's War another time.